Sarah's story may be one of the strangest stories that you have ever heard in your life. The strange thing is that the story is true and happened in a city in the United States of America. The story began when Sarah was 18 years old, and she was living an ordinary life with her mother, father, brother Harry, and her little sister Hannah until that day came. Sarah was a big fan of themes of jinn, ghosts, and horror stories. She used to read a lot in this field and was very interested in it. One day, after Sarah woke up in the morning, this mysterious message arrived on Sarah's phone. As Sarah usually wakes up from sleep and plays with her phone a little, indeed, she grabbed her phone and saw a message she received from an unknown number that says, "Sarah chose you to take revenge for me, because you are the only person who will take my revenge." Sarah replied to him with astonishment. "Who are you?" He replied to her immediately, "It is not important who I am, but I will explain to you my story. I am a dead person for more than 4 years. A person killed me for no reason. The problem is that the police considered my death an accident. I want to take my right, and I chose you from all people to help me." Sarah at that moment started laughing, and she told her friend the message and said to her, "Surely this is one of the girls who wants to scare me and play a prank on me." Suddenly, while reading the message to her friend, she received another message from the same number that says, "Never read my messages to anyone." Here, Sarah got a little scared, and without any introduction, she blocked his number. The next day, in the morning, Sarah went down and ate breakfast with her family, and here she told them of the strange message that she had received. Her father told her not to be afraid of just people trying to mess with you and scare you. Sarah was not afraid at all and continued her day as usual, and went to her studies and met her friend. And while Sarah was returning home with her, she received a message from the same number written in it. "Sarah, why are you blocking me? Because this thing will not prevent me from texting you." Sarah at this time was surprised how he could text me from the same number, and I blocked him yesterday. Sarah replied, "Who are you and what do you want from me?" He replied, "I ask you for the second time. Do you agree to take my revenge?" Sarah was still convinced that it was a prank from one of her friends. So she told him, "If you are one of my friends and you are pranking me, stop, because I don't like this joke." He replied, "You still don't believe me? Look at the building opposite you." In front of Sarah's school there was an abandoned building, with no one living in it for a long time. After he sent her to look at the building opposite you, I looked there and found a person wearing black clothes and pointing to her with his hands. The natural thing that Sarah did, and she told her friend, and told her to look at the building, "Look at that person who refers to me." Her friend looked well, but she did not see anyone there. And at the same moment a message arrived to Sarah that read, "Sarah, do not bother. The person who is there will not be able to see him except you." Here fear entered Sarah's heart, so she tried to convince her friend of what she saw, but to no avail. And at that time, Sarah decided to give up answering this person and just ignore him. Days passed and messages reached Sarah, but she did not answer him. At this time, a strange message arrived to Sarah that said, "Sarah, tomorrow will be your first warning." Sarah didn't care what he said and said, "This is a liar, and he's just trying to scare me." The next day Sarah woke up and everything was normal. She went to school and met her friend and everything was normal. She went back to her house and her father's phone was ringing. Her father spoke a little on the phone, and she saw signs of terror in his face. The call was from the hospital telling him that his son Harry was in it after he was injured. He was in a car accident and is now in a difficult and critical condition. Sarah at that moment remembered that person's message, and the warning and the threat he had given her. They quickly went to the hospital and found Harry's condition improved and became stable. Here Sarah told her father about the threat that had reached her on the phone, and here her father decided to go to the nearest police station to report this threat. And on her way to the police, Sarah received a message from that number written in it, "Sarah, I advise you not to go to the police station. Your brother Harry's accident was a simple warning, And if you disobey my orders for the second time, you will lose your brother Harry forever. Here, Sarah became more frightened and told her father about the message she had received. They went to the police and Sarah gave them the number that sends messages to her. But the shocking thing was that the policeman told her that this number had died 4 years ago. Here fear and terror began to kill Sarah. The policeman told her to give him her phone to read the messages, and here is the strangest thing. The policeman did not find any message she had received from that number. Sarah panicked and started saying, "The messages were on the phone a short time ago. What happened? Have they been deleted?" At this moment, the policeman began to doubt in Sarah's words, thinking that she was just crazy and mentally ill, and he could not complete the report because there was no evidence. So they left the police headquarters. Sarah and her father returned, shocked and afraid of what happened. She did not believe how the messages had disappeared from her phone. They returned to the hospital, and if a message arrived on Sarah's phone, it says, "I told you not to go to the police, and I told you that you would lose Harry if you did this, and that you would be held responsible for your actions." Sarah quickly entered her brother Harry's room in the hospital to find that his heart had stopped. She called the doctor quickly. He tried to resuscitate his heart, but to no avail. He told her that her brother Harry had died. Sarah went crazy and began to hold herself responsible for what happened, and the strangest thing was that the doctor told them that Harry's accident was one of the strangest things he had seen in. Even the witnesses to his accident did not see the car that hit him. Fear increased more and more in Sarah, who hated everything. And what increased her hatred is that no one believes her. The next day, she received another letter saying, "I am still waiting for you to take my revenge. Otherwise, the second warning will be the loss of another member of your family." Here Sarah did not find any other solution than to agree to his request. She went to this wanted person, but she could not kill him. He was a good and normal person, and she did not find anything in him indicating that he was a murderer. She returned home, and before she fell asleep, she received a message saying, "Sarah, I have disappointed you. Take responsibility for what will happen tomorrow." Sarah did not find anything to do. She was afraid. But there was no solution for her. The next day, she went to school tired and exhausted from what had happened to her. When she returned home, she found her father and mother afraid, because her little sister Hannah did not return home from school. Here Sarah went crazy and started screaming, "He is the one who did it. I must kill that person. This is the solution. I must kill him." Her family was afraid of her, and they knew that she had gone crazy. With them, after a while, she was admitted to a psychiatric hospital, and her little sister Hannah did not find her since that day until now. Sarah is still living in the insane hospital, and she still says every day that I have to kill him. This is the solution. Many people say that what happened to her is real, and some say that it was just hallucinations and that she was mentally ill from the beginning. Finally, thank you for staying until the end of the video. Do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel. If you are interested in horror stories, activate the bell to receive all new